Crowley.
Do what thou wilt. Show me the whole of the law.
Love is the law. Love and will.
Midday.
I did have to speed a bit to be on time.
Well done. Time is important. Who's this?
Alex the Pod, sir. I'm at Trinity 2.
Reading theology like Simon's here?
No, sir. Science.
Science. Ah, the new magic.
Excuse me?
I look at space exploration, artificial intelligence, nuclear weapons, cyberspace, and genetic engineering as all essentially religious projects. I spent some weeks at the archives in NASA, where the archivist had, simply out of his own interest, collected a great volume of documents about religion, and no one had ever looked at it before. And as I was reading it, I got more and more terrified, really, because the otherworldly aspect of the space program, let's say, divine pretensions. The origins of manned spaceflight, in Russia, it goes back to Tsiolkovsky, who preached that it was mankind's destiny to dominate the cosmos and become reunited with God, and that space exploration was the means to that end. And he was really the father of modern rocketry.
Arthur C. Clarke once said that any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. But I think that's actually the wrong way around. I think that we're trying to achieve magic through technology. Magic is in many ways the idea that we can control the world around us. And of course, this is what technology is about. But what people usually call magic is more close to the pre-rational idea that everything is connected with me. That is the view of a small child. But as we grow up, we realize that things happen that are not connected to us. But through technology, we can still achieve these changes we want. We want to go up in a high building, we use the elevator, which is really a magical mean.
Modern life starts to look like a fairy tale where everything is alive. Our environment is full of demonic devices that we command with remote controls and credit cards as our magic wands, and with passwords and fingerprints as our magic spells. Virtual reality gives a foretaste of how this manner of commanding, of mastering the world around us, will further evolve. The Jewish community never made a real functioning robot during the Middle Ages, but they did produce a legend about a robot, the Golem, and that story still seems to play an inspirational role in the scientific community of today.
In that building over there, in the classical AI lab, I know at least 4 people who claim to be descendants of Rabbi Lew, who is known as the first Kabbalist who actually built a golem. Rabbi Lew lived in Prague in the 15th or 16th century, and there are a couple of different stories about his golem. And one story is when the golem died, he put the dead golem in the attic of the Prague synagogue, and he created a sentence to revive the golem at the end of all times. And a couple of people in that building, including Marvin Minsky, have been told that sentence on the day of their bar mitzvah. So they have been told by their fathers or grandfathers that they would be the ones who would revive the golem. And of course, then you can easily draw the parallel to AI, right? If you want to revive the golem, okay, you build an AI system. 2 people who actually claim to be descendants. One is Jerry Sussman, a professor here, and the other one is Joel Moses, who is right now provost of MIT. We're sitting together, and they wrote the sentence they have learned to revive the golem on a piece of paper, and it was absolutely the same. So this tradition has actually survived for 400 years. And for me, it's just interesting that this element is so strong in the AI community.
Xavier here. I just stopped to say hi.
And there's one story where the golem comes to life and has on its forehead the terms Yahweh Elohim Emet, which means God the Lord is truth. And he comes to life and removes the aleph, the first letter of the word term Emet, from his forehead, so that the remaining sentence means God the Lord is dead. And its builders, of course, are totally horrified and say, what's going on? I mean, how can you say God is dead? And he says, well, we are created in God's image, and we adore God because God was able to build something so fantastic as us. But if you are not able to rebuild yourself, the people will adore you for building that, and not God anymore. But as soon as God is not adored anymore, he might as well be dead.
The notion that science and religion were enemies is really a historical myth. In fact, for most of our history, science and religion have been intimately entwined. The first time you have a really major separation between science and religion is when Darwin put forward his thesis that man was descended from apes and not made in the image of God. That caused a huge tension between science and religion. And in the late 19th century, a mythology was in fact created that science and religion had always been at war, which in fact is a historical myth.
So why not get it all out on the table? Okay, you want to pursue genetic engineering because human beings, as the image likeness of the God, have the right to create new species, transgenic species, participate in creation, a new creation, a second Genesis. That's our birthright. That's what was promised to Adam. Okay, if that's true, if that's what we're about, let's say that's what we're doing. Okay, and stop all this talk about, oh, we're doing this for medical reasons. Okay.
In 2019, we also celebrate 50 years since brave young pilots flew 250,000 miles through space to plant the American flag on the face of the moon. Half a century later, we are joined by one of the Apollo 11 astronauts who planted that flag, Buzz Aldrin.
all-seeing eye, and the square compasses. Here we have Buzz Aldrin, the second man, supposedly that walked on the grey dust of Kubrick's film set, showing off. They don't try and hide it. He's a Mason. There's his Masonic ring. He's got his Shriner hat there. And these guys, yeah, they're supposedly praying to the command module. Looks like a pyramid to me. The connections between Ron L. Hubbard, or L. Ron Hubbard, who started the Scientology movement, Walt Disney, Werner von Braun, rocket scientist, Jack Parsons, also a rocket scientist, Jet Propulsion's laboratory, and Aleister Crowley, who's obviously an arch Satanist, influenced a lot of rock music and everything else. Started the OTO, the Ordo Tempora Orientis. These guys are all connected. They're all in the same brotherhood. The connections between, well, here you go. Jack Parsons, the JPL was how obviously NASA got into got into the air in the first place, the Jet Propulsion's laboratory. Here's Jack Parsons at a Masonic ceremony. You can tell by the floor. And again, you can look into this for yourself. Yeah, it's easily searchable. It's easily researchable information. The connection between Walt Disney. Here we have aboard the ISS. Again, now we're getting into the handshakes. We've got Baphomet all doing it. Yeah, we've seen Bill Clinton do that, and Bush, and all these guys give you that. We know what that means. We know who they're in service to. This is all about occultism. It's all about sun worship, heliocentrism. It's not science. It's a religion. It's a faith. This is Helios. This is Helios, the sun god. And here he is on the badge of Apollo 13. This is all occult religion going all the way back through all Egypt and then back through to Babylon as well. This is what he's shown. This is last year from the Discover satellite, the Epic camera. This is actually the dark side of the moon. Going past the Earth. There's the Earth spinning. And there's the dark side of the moon. The only problem with that is the moon's supposed to be orbiting the Earth, not just flying straight past it. Your eyes aren't fooled. Yeah, you've got your own senses, trust your senses. This is clearly CGI, but you go to NASA's website and they will claim this was taken from 1 million miles away from Earth by the Discover satellite. You'll notice also that the clouds don't really move. I mean, they move across, but they don't change, don't swirl, they don't change direction. 5 hours, 3:50 to 8:45 is nearly 5 hours of time-lapse photography. Those clouds do not move at all.
You ever been mindfucked before?
Copernicus was the main guy who started off the revolution. His book on the revolutions of the celestial spheres changed, thousands of years of thinking about the Earth being completely still, as you can experience it for yourself every single day of your life, and obviously the bodies move in the heavens above us. That's what your senses experience. Copernicus changed all that around, but he didn't use any science. There's no science in his book. He got his ideas from the Hermetica, from Hermes Trismegistus, and it basically says how the sun sits enthroned in the middle of the solar system, and we all orbit around it. What's that sound like to you? That sounds like sun worship. It sounds like sun cult to me. Because later on, I'm going to show you, Fred Hoyle was another astronomer. He said there's no difference in the mathematics, whether it's geocentric or heliocentric. Whether the sun moves around the Earth moves around the sun, the mass works the same, exactly the way. The connections between, just from the imaging. Yeah, I wouldn't have a portrait done with a big 33 on it, or a triangle with an eye, or anything like that. I wouldn't want to be connected or associated with any of that stuff, because I'm not really into that kind of stuff. I'm working for the other side. But Copernicus obviously had no problem with the square and compass. Yeah, with the big wheel here, we've got the big sun wheel, and we've got the Mercury sign as well. Yeah, all leads back again. You can investigate that more for yourself. The Book of Thoth by Aleister Crowley, Freemasonry with the sun over the head. Yeah, as above, so below. Yeah, one of the reasons why Mercury, because it can rise in the morning and the night, so it's also hermaphroditic. Both sexes, which obviously is Baphomet as well, which we know as the breast and the penis. It goes on and on and on. It's all about cult sun worship. You can trace it back to Babylon. You can see all the different gods going through it, but there is no signs to Copernicus's on the revolutions of the spheres. It's a philosophical tract, and it's all based on the Hermetica.
and talk about the things that interested us most, in particular the things that occurred on and about the moon. We will use a number of films and slides which most of you have already seen, with the intent of pointing out some of the things that we observed on the spot, which may not be obvious to those of you who are looking at them here from the surface of Earth.
Masonic moon, plans were made by the bankers in the back room. Get the president out of the way and hire Stanley Kubrick. Under the Masonic moon, the Masonic moon, everyone hoped that the boys would come home soon. One more day and they'll drop from the plane and splash into the ocean. Under the Masonic moon, John and his conspirators got a free ride to the States. They turned Nazi into NASA. They just couldn't wait. Under the Masonic moon, under the Masonic moon, plans were made by the bankers in the back room. The owl sees into the night, and the secret will never be told. Under the Masonic moon, under the Masonic moon, plans were made by the bankers in the back room. The owl sees into the night, and the secret will never be told.
99, proceeded, 3, 2, 1, ignition. Right away, Houston. Red, good.
The owl sees into the night, and the secret will never be told.
Okay, 30 seconds. 308, your number.